Those of you who grinded hard in your 20s, how did it pay off? When I was young, I didn't have much money. I worked really hard, sacrificing a lot along the way to build a better life for myself. Now, after all those years of grinding, I'm no longer young, but I'm also not poor anymore. It's strange, though. I have the stability I always wanted, but sometimes I wonder if all the sacrifice was worth the time I can never get back. I'm really thankful that by my mid-30s, I was able to turn things around and still have some youth left to enjoy it. I was born into poverty. My dad worked a low-paying job trying to support 6 kids. I remember one Christmas when all we got was second-hand stuffed animals, oranges, and some basics like socks. I dropped out of high school and worked all kinds of odd jobs until I was 25, barely making enough to cover rent and cheap food. I had nothing saved and was constantly worried about the next bill. At 26, a professor friend told me I had a shot at getting into a master's program if I could score above the 85th percentile on the GRE. I spent 6 months studying hard, passed the test, and got accepted. 4 years later, I graduated with a master's degree and landed a dream job making $70K a year. Now, at 39, I'm earning about $130K. My only debt is a low-interest loan on a minivan, thanks to getting married and having kids. I'm beyond grateful that a school took a chance on a high school dropout and that a job opportunity came my way. Now I'm focused on helping others the way I was helped. Every year, I write countless reference letters for people looking to further their education or land a job. In my free time, I mentor others in my community, helping them break the cycle of poverty through a mix of social assistance and hard work. It feels good to give back and help others climb out like I did. The startup I poured everything into didn't work out, and I never made the millions I dreamed of. To make things worse, I ended up divorced because I didn't put enough energy into my relationship. I was so focused on the hustle that I lost sight of what really mattered. I'm not saying the hustle is bad, but it's important to spread your efforts across different areas of your life. It's easy to get tunnel vision when chasing success, but neglecting other parts of your life can lead to regrets. In the end, balance is key. Make sure you're not sacrificing your relationships and well-being for a dream that might not come true. Now that I'm in my mid-30s, with a family and a kid, I look back and realize that the only real regret I have is not going on more adventures in my 20s. I spent so much time focusing on responsibilities and trying to get ahead that I missed out on the chance to explore the world and create unforgettable memories. Those years are gone now, and while I'm happy with where I am, I do wish I had taken more time to experience life in a different way when I had the freedom to do so. It's something I think about often, and it's a reminder to seize the moment when you can. I put everything I had into earning my PhD, working tirelessly to reach that goal. But just a month after defending my dissertation, the stress triggered a brutal autoimmune disease that now completely controls my life. It's a harsh reality. After all that hard work, I'm left dealing with a condition that overshadows everything. Looking back, I wish I had taken more time to enjoy my 20s instead of pushing myself to the limit. The pursuit of academic success came at a cost I never expected, and now I'm living with the consequences. If I could do it over, I'd find a better balance between working hard and actually living life. I worked hard and managed to save up enough money for a down payment on a house just before the housing market boom. The timing couldn't have been better. I bought in right before prices skyrocketed. That early grind really paid off in a big way, setting me up with a solid investment that's only grown in value. Looking back, I'm glad I made the decision to save and invest when I did, because it gave me a big financial advantage down the road. All that hard work in my 20s has led to more freedom and financial stability now. I have the security of knowing I can handle unexpected expenses without stress, and I have the flexibility to make choices that align with what I really want in life. Whether it's traveling, investing in new opportunities, or just enjoying time with loved ones, I don't feel as tied down by financial worries. It's a good feeling to have worked hard and now enjoy the benefits of that effort. I have some regrets, especially from a social standpoint. Right after graduating college, I jumped straight into full-time work without taking any breaks. Meanwhile, my friends took time off to travel and experience life in a different way. Now that we're all in our mid-30s with stable careers, spouses, and kids, I realize I missed out on those adventures and carefree experiences. While I'm happy with where I am now, there's a part of me that wishes I had taken some time to explore the world and enjoy those youthful moments before settling down. It's a part of life that I can't go back and recapture. Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. Things haven't turned out as well as I hoped. The pandemic hit me hard, devastating my finances and leaving me struggling to get back on my feet. On top of that, years of hard work have taken a toll on my body, and now I find it difficult to keep up in my line of work. The physical strain is catching up with me, making it harder to stay in the game. It's frustrating to see the efforts of my 20s unravel like this, and it's a tough reality to face. Well, at least now you have a solid income, and you're not stuck living at your parents' house anymore. You've gained financial independence, which is something many people struggle to achieve. Having your own place and being able to support yourself is a big deal, and it's a testament to the hard work you put in during your 20s. It's not always perfect, but having that stability is a significant accomplishment. I worked hard in my 20s, but I wasn't great at saving. Now, in my 40s, I'm doing okay. Not rich, but not poor either. I own a house and have a decent retirement plan in place, which gives me some peace of mind. I've seen people who earned way more than I did in their 20s, but now they're struggling, even homeless. It's a reminder that it all comes down to moderation. It's not just about how much you make, it's about how you manage what you have. Finding that balance between enjoying life and planning for the future has made all the difference. I started grinding hard even before I hit my 20s. By the time Jerry Garcia passed away in '95, I was just 20 years old, and I had already saved up 90 Ks from selling grilled cheese on Grateful Dead tours. I took that money and invested in real estate in Northern California. Nearly 30 years later, I've flipped enough properties to set myself up financially, which means I only take on jobs that I really enjoy. It's been a unique journey, but putting in the work early on allowed me to create a life where I have the freedom to do what I love. It didn't work out the way I hoped. I built up significant wealth through my 20s and 30s, and by my early 40s I was doing really well. But then, out of nowhere, my entire industry collapsed. Tech took a nosedive, and suddenly, everything I'd worked for was gone. I spent years sowing, putting in the hard work and sacrifice, expecting to finally start reaping the rewards. But just when it was supposed to pay off, the rug was pulled out from under me. Now I find myself on my knees, struggling to figure out what's next. It's a harsh reminder that even the best laid plans can fall apart. I have a huge regret. I let my mental health take a back seat while I was grinding hard. Now, I'm paying the price for it. All those years of pushing myself, ignoring the signs, and not taking care of my mind have caught up with me. It's a tough reality to face because while I may have achieved some things, the cost to my well-being has been steep. Looking back, I wish I had balanced my drive with better self-care, because now I'm dealing with the consequences every day. It worked out great for me. I spent my 20s studying intensely, earning a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and eventually a PhD. After that, I went into management consulting and built a solid foundation that has given me a lot of flexibility in life and relative financial freedom. There's real satisfaction in knowing that I earned everything I have today through education and hard work. Education coupled with relentless effort is incredibly powerful. But I can't ignore the role that a supportive family and spouse played in my journey. Having people who believed in me made a huge difference. I'm also aware of how fortunate I was to have the opportunity to focus on school, something not everyone has. and I have to acknowledge that luck played a part too. While I believe we create some of our own luck, taking lots of chances definitely helped me be in the right place at the right time. All those shots on goal added up, and I'm grateful for how things turned out. I'm exhausted. One thing people don't often tell you is that while you're laser focused on your career, the people you love are getting older and sometimes sicker. I was so wrapped up in my work that I didn't even notice my family members' health declining until it was too late. Now, as I'm approaching my 30s, I already regret not spending more time with my family. I wish I had prioritized them over my career more often. Looking back, I realize that those moments with loved ones are irreplaceable, and no career success can make up for missing out on them. I'm 34, single, and I have no debts. I've got accident and health insurance, a sizable investment in the stock market, and 2 time deposits. My savings are enough to cover about 20 months of my average income, which gives me a lot of peace of mind. As a freelancer, I don't have a stable monthly salary, but I'm no longer stressed when a client disappears without a word like I used to be 10 years ago. I've built up enough financial security to weather those bumps. Living in Southeast Asia also helps. A single US dollar can get me a cheap, but filling home-cooked meal, so my cost of living is relatively low. Overall, the hard work I put in during my 20s has paid off, giving me the freedom and stability to live comfortably, even without a traditional job. I've achieved a lot on paper: 2 PhDs, a JD, and an MA, and I hold a powerful position in my state government. But despite all that, I'm miserable. I'm drowning in school debt, constantly battling anxiety, and I find myself drinking more than I should to cope. My life is consumed by work, commuting, and taking care of my kids. There's no time left for a personal life, friends, or anything that isn't related to my job or family responsibilities. It's a tough reality to face, but this is where I've ended up after years of pushing myself to achieve more. On the outside, it might look like I have it all, but inside, it's a different story. There's so much wisdom packed into this comment, and I can't help but wish I had some of that insight for myself. It's amazing how life experiences shape our understanding of what really matters. Reading this makes me reflect on my own journey and the lessons I've learned, or maybe still need to learn. Sometimes it takes hearing someone else's story to put things into perspective and realize what's truly important. I started as a combat officer in the army, fought in wars, and then transitioned into a corporate job when I got out. I learned the ropes quickly and climbed the ladder, landing what I thought was my dream job within 10 years. But the dream job turned out to be a nightmare. I wasted a lot of my success on coke and wild partying. Everything changed when I had a kid. I left the rat race, moved closer to family, and shifted my priorities. Now my wife and I both make 6 figures pretty effortlessly, but by the standards I grew up with, that's just barely middle class. It wasn't an easy journey, and honestly, I'm not sure it was worth it. Our society is messed up right now. We're in desperate need of change. And it's not because my lifestyle isn't comfortable. It's because there are so many people out there working way harder than I ever did, for so much less. That's what's truly broken. I had all the right opportunities handed to me. I made plenty of mistakes along the way, and yet I'm still doing okay. That shouldn't be the case in a fair system. It's a sign that something is deeply wrong. I skipped the typical college experience and went straight to work at 17. By working hard, I climbed my way up to management and got married at 23. When I was 27, the owner of my company told me he saw me as a future CEO and even offered to pay half of my college tuition. I went back to school and earned my undergraduate degree in a little over 5 years, all while working 50, 60 hours a week and adopting a little girl, becoming a father in the process. Eventually, I took the leap and cashed in my retirement savings during COVID to buy a small business. Now I'm in my 4th year, and we've grown 400%. I'm already planning to sell the business within the next 10 years and retire. Along the way, I've lived fully, traveled, partied, and maintained a strong marriage with the woman I married at 23. We have an amazing daughter, and though I've worked my brains out, I don't regret any of it. Every step, every decision has led me to a life that I'm proud of and fulfilled by. It's worked out really well for me. In my 20s, I put in 80 or 100-hour weeks, taking on jobs that I was way underqualified for. I spent my free time studying, catching up quickly on the skills I needed to succeed. Now at 36, with 2 kids and a wife who can stay at home, I'm making over $400K a year. But the grind doesn't stop. I'm focused on shifting my active income into passive income. I've gone heavy into real estate, owning multiple rental properties across the US. I'm tired of climbing the corporate ladder and want more freedom and security. One important thing I've learned is that how you grind in your 20s really matters. Put in your 9 to 5, but those extra 40 hours should be dedicated to your self-development or progress. If you're working 80 hours just for a W-2 paycheck, you're missing the point. Use that time to build something for yourself, whether it's skills, investments, or a side business. That's what sets you up for long-term success. I burned out hard, and by my early 30s, I had to hit the reset button on my life. Looking back, it feels like all that effort was for nothing. I have very few good memories to show for it. While others were enjoying movies, TV shows, music, sports, and a social life, I was grinding away, missing out on all of it. Now I realize I sacrificed too much for too little in return. The things I gave up can't be regained, and it's a heavy price to pay for what turned out to be an empty pursuit. I put in long hours and made a lot of sacrifices, but in the end, it was worth it. All that effort led to financial stability, career growth, and the independence I always wanted. It wasn't easy, but hard work truly does pay off. Now I can look back and see the results of all that grinding, and it feels good to know that my dedication brought me to this point. I've got a 6-figure job, and I get to work from home all the time. I never have to go into the office. It's not in the high 100s, but I'm really happy with where I'm at financially. The flexibility of working from home gives me a great work-life balance, and being comfortable with my income makes it even better. I'm content with the situation I've built for myself, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm completely burned out. Years of hard work and pushing myself have taken their toll, and I'm feeling the effects more than ever. It's tough to keep going when the exhaustion has built up like this, and it makes me question if all the effort was worth it. I've reached a point where the burnout overshadows any sense of achievement, and it's a constant struggle just to keep moving forward. I retired at 50, and now I'm happily married and traveling the world with my spouse. It's the life we always dreamed of, exploring new places and enjoying each other's company without the stress of work. We're making the most of this time, creating memories together in every corner of the globe. It feels incredibly rewarding to have worked hard and now be able to fully enjoy the freedom and adventure that comes with retirement. I spent my late teens and all of my 20s working for my dad's maintenance company. Just as I started, we took on a nationwide contract, providing 24-hour reactive and planned maintenance for a large chain across the UK as their main contractor. Pros: the money was good, not just from my wages, but from the company's earnings, which allowed me to invest in multiple rental properties and a few other businesses. My mortgage is paid off without any issues, and while I'm not wealthy, money isn't a stress factor in my life. I've managed to build a decent passive income, which now gives me the freedom to pick and choose the work I want to do. Cons: but I missed out on so much in life. Gigs, parties, hanging out with friends, dinners with family, you name it, I missed it. Even when I was physically there, I was always glued to my phone, checking emails and messages. The stress was through the roof. The clients we worked for didn't care about work-life balance. They wanted me, not my employees. And they wanted me now. If a branch couldn't open at 8 a.m. as scheduled, it was me they screamed at. I worked multiple 24-hour shifts on site to get things up and running, only to be criticized because someone found dirt in a back-of-house sink. I have a lot to be thankful for because of the work, but there's a part of me that regrets choosing it over actually enjoying life. The sacrifices were huge, and while the financial rewards are nice, I can't help but wonder what I missed out on by not being more present in the moments that really mattered. What does it really mean for something to pay off? I've got a nice apartment, a car, and very little debt. I'm still working hard, but not as intensely as I used to. My life feels pretty normal, nothing extraordinary, but comfortable. I guess that's the payoff in a way: stability, a decent living situation, and the ability to work without burning out. It's not flashy, but it's a good life. Sometimes just having a steady, normal existence is a success in itself. In short, it didn't really pay off the way I hoped. My family couldn't afford to help with school, and I was raised to believe that debt was something to avoid at all costs. So I enlisted in the Navy's nuclear program, hoping it would set me up for a stable future. After leaving the service, I started my own small business with just $2,500 and a vending machine. I spent the next decade growing the business, and avoiding all the usual temptations. No partying, no frivolous spending. By 2021, I had finally crossed the threshold of a six-figure take-home pay and was ready to use my VA home loan. But every time I tried to buy a house, I lost out to cash offers that waived inspections. Meanwhile, some of my friends, who seemed to just skate through life without much direction, now own homes that they bought for $75,000. Houses that would now cost me $400,000 to buy from them. They didn't follow the correct, responsible path like I did, but somehow they ended up with more assets. It's frustrating to see that doing things the right way didn't get me as far as I thought it would. While I've worked hard and made some gains, it feels like the system is rigged in a way that punishes caution and rewards risk-taking. Sometimes it makes me question whether all the sacrifices were worth it. Thanks for watching and listening to these stories. Life doesn't always go the way we plan, but each journey teaches us something valuable. If you found this video relatable or insightful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Share your own experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward.